President Thapa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, for having me.
Time is ticking down. We are getting very close to 2030, 4 years away, and right now only 17% of the Sustainable Development Goals are on track. So you're really trying to accelerate progress to 2030. Can you give us a sense of the findings of the new SDG progress report?
One of our priority is how we can accelerate the implementation of the SDG. But you know that a lot of countries are facing a lot of problems, and especially finance, technology, capacity building gaps. We need to really highlight the financing. It is already proved that business as usual is really not delivering. We have to have some constructive and then the innovative ways to deliver that. Similarly, we are trying to bring in more voices in the ECOSOC process as well. You can see that that's one of the reasons why I am really trying to spotlight on the youth entrepreneurship, youth innovations, so that they can also try to accelerate the 2030 agenda. And so we need to go to have the whole of the society and whole of the government approach as well, and in order to accelerate the 2030 agenda.
I do want to ask you about some of your priorities, which you mentioned. One of them is closing the digital divide and providing access and a pathway to youth entrepreneurship. You mentioned it just now, and if I can, I'd like to quote from you. We must make every effort to translate this untapped potential into inclusive growth and innovation through education, decent work, digital skills, and entrepreneurship. So address this rapid growth. We're all experiencing this rapid growth of technology with artificial intelligence. And so if you can share with us sort of the connection you're trying to make between young people and catching up, having the access, and some of the UN's efforts in bridging that.
AI and then digital sector digitalization has given us the opportunity to transform our economies. But for that, again, we have to educate the people, we have to utilize those resources in order to transform the economy, right? For that, what I feel is that if we provide the opportunities for the young people, and if we capitalize on those resources through the digital inclusion and entrepreneurship, they can ultimately contribute to the digital economy and service sectors. And that is why I thought that it is better for us to give the opportunities for those people, and through the better education, better opportunities, and and then to include for the accessibility, affordability of the digitalization, connectivity as well. For the digitalization. That's why I thought that let's prioritize these sectors so that the whole global south, especially global south, Africa, LDC, LLDC, where up to the 70% of the total populations are young, and they can really try to capitalize on these resources and in order to transform the economy.
So many young kids are tech savvy in ways that you or I could barely imagine.
That is one of the reasons, because they can, especially the young population, they are the innovators, they are the change makers. That's why we need to bring them in the policy makings, also in order to implement whatever commitment we have made.
I want to take one more quote from your inaugural statement, if I can. Over 735 million people face hunger globally, with food prices volatile and rural livelihoods under threat. ECOSOC must drive coordinated investment, inclusive innovation, and policy reforms. We're seeing food prices go up as we speak with just everything that's going on in the world. So what are some of the biggest challenges in transforming these systems?
If we are going to achieve the SDGs, and then we have to address the food insecurity firstly, right? Otherwise, we cannot achieve the zero hunger. That is the one. Secondly, the poverty. If you see that the foods system transformations will have the implications on multiple SDGs targets, right? I see that there is a lot of gaps in order to have the agri-food system transformations, and because this sector is still lagging the technology on the ground. And similarly, we don't have the constitutional financing going to that sectors. And then I also wanted to bring more youth in this sector with the more technology, more finance, and also with the connection to the market.
This is also the 70th anniversary of Nepal joining the United Nations. Tell us about your mission's priorities and also how your background in diplomacy has shaped your perspective and your leadership as president of ECOSOC.
Yeah, you rightly pointed out that this just last years and 2025 December 14 we celebrated the 70th years of Nepal's admission to the United Nations, and so in the same years I was so proud to have this role of the President of the Economic and Social Council. This is the first time we are having these roles, and so on that, I think I take it the recognitions by the member states, of the huge contributions Nepal has been making over the years for 70 years in peace and development and human dignity. You can see that over the years, almost 68 years, Nepal has, consistently been contributing to the global peace and security through our participation in peacekeeping operations in number of missions around the world. Similarly, we are the leading country to the women, contributing to the women peacekeepers around the world. Similarly, we are always advocating the interest and priorities of the LDC, because Nepal are least developed countries as well. And so currently we are the chair of the LDC group as well. And so we are trying to advocate the priorities of those vulnerable countries as well.
Thank you, President Thapa.
Thank you.